to George Jerjian.
It's cold. You have a cow field on your left with a few cows, and on your right you have a cluster of trees. And then suddenly, bang! The shotgun goes out, birds fly out of the trees, and there's just one little blackbird coming out this way, flapping its wings erratically, and it crash lands in the cow field, just very close to the cows. One of the cows looks at this intruder and says, "What the?" and approaches it and looks at it disdainfully and then turns around and evacuates its bowels right over the blackbird. A huge pile of steaming dung. Now, recognize that protected the bird overnight in that crisp March weather. The next day, the cows had disappeared, but there was a red fox nearby. That fox has one X, by the way. Then, that fox came around and heard this bird chirping away, trying to get itself out of that encrusted dung, and was making a hell of a racket, and the fox flicked its ears up and said, "I love the smell of breakfast in the morning," and proceeded to go towards that noise. It found the bird, it found its beak out of the dung, picked up the bird out of the dung, cleaned it up, and ate it. Now, the moral of the story here is, A, when somebody craps all over you, they're not necessarily your enemy. Secondly, when you're in the ship, zip up. There are predators about. Thirdly, when somebody comes up to you, helps you, pulls you up, dusts you down, cleans you up, and is nice to you, they're not necessarily your friend. But here's the silver lining. There's more to this. Don't you think that bird should have been grateful to the cow for dumping on her and saving her from freezing all night? That's what this subject is about. It's one of the reasons why I named my business Spirit of Gratitude. I'm a coach, speaker, and writer, but I wanted to differentiate myself from other people. So, why am I telling you this story? Well, it's kind of a prelude to a personal story I have, which I'll be telling you very briefly. It was about 11 years ago, in 2007. It was in January. We just sold our house. We found a flat to rent, but we hadn't packed up. And my wife got news that her father had suffered a stroke, and we had to fly out to see him. We did. A week later, he passed away, and so we had to go to a funeral and all that stuff. But on top of that, I had a doctor's appointment, and I had to go and do an MRI, and I discovered that I had a bone tumor. There was a bone tumor the size of an eggplant sitting on my pelvis, and the doctor said to me, in 98% of cases, 98, bone tumor is a secondary cancer, it's spread all over your body, you're looking at 6 months. So I thought, whoa, that's a bit of a shock. In any event, they had to do tests for 3 weeks. I didn't get enough time to do a bucket list. Went to see the doctor again, and he said, "You won't believe this. You belong to the 2% club. It's benign. It's huge, it's large, we're going to operate, we're going to take it out, you're out of commission for 6 months." I went, yes! 2% club. I also belong to the top 1% club here. Yeah. So, now, what my point is that that is the best thing that could have happened to me. I have no regrets. I am not bitter, I'm not resentful, I am actually so grateful that this happened to me. But it gets even better. I was working on my father-in-law's estate, and there was a litigation involved, and there was money in there, so I couldn't just let it go. And I thought 12 to 18 months, I'll deal with this. I'm convalescing, I might as well do this, so I did it, thinking it was only going to take 12 to 18 months, but in actual fact, it took 11 years. I have beaten the Guinness Book of Records in civil litigation. It's unbelievable. Now, I owe it to, I'm so grateful that I went through this process, because I learned an incredible amount. And I am where I am today because of that experience. So I'm incredibly grateful for it. And what I'm asking you to do and think is, what difficulties and sufferings have you gone through? And I'm sure every single one of you has gone through something or another. Or maybe even more than me. The point is that those have been opportunities. If you look back on it, if you take the time, which I did, I had the time to look back and audit all the times that I've had difficulties in my life. And I've seen that each time, those have been platforms for me to grow. And I suspect, in fact I know, that every single one of you will come to that conclusion when you go and audit your own lives. So, about gratitude, I just want to sort of say three things. Give thanks all the time. Every day. Every time you see something beautiful or something lovely, give thanks. Because it'll make you feel better. It's not about other people. It's not about being nice to other people. It's about being nice to yourself, first of all. Because you can't be nice to other people unless you're nice to yourself first. So do yourself a favor. Secondly, it'll help you with your health. Because when you're bitter, resentful, angry, envious, it's all a miasma of dung. That's what it is. You deserve better. So that's the first thing. The other thing, of course, with this thing about being grateful all the time is that it actually not only is healthy, makes you feel better and all that stuff, but remember, it helps you to challenge and do things. We weren't put into this planet to walk quietly to a soft death. We were meant to we were supposed to take action here. We're supposed to do something with our lives. And we all have that ability to do it. But we can only do that when we have a grateful heart. And I'll explain to you in a minute why. Secondly, all religions disagree on everything. Pretty much, except what I think is gratitude. The Hindus have it, the Buddhists have it, the Muslims have it. They have it in the Quran, and they have Ramadan, 1 month of Thanksgiving, fasting, that's Thanksgiving. The Christians have it in the Eucharist, the liturgy of the Eucharist. Eucharist is Thanksgiving from the Greek. So every religion has it. The Americans have it. They have a Thanksgiving. Everybody has a Thanksgiving. And so it's in our DNA. But here's the paradox. A neuroscientist by the name of Rick Hansen said that we humans attract negative information like Velcro. It just sticks on us. But positive information is like Teflon. It slides right off us. I mean, that's why the news media we have only reports negative news. And don't believe this fake news business, by the way. This has been around for a long time. Mark Twain said it 100 years ago. Those who read newspapers, those who don't read newspapers are uninformed. Those who read them are misinformed. Okay? So fake news goes way back. It goes way back before Trump, trust me. So that's the first thing. We attract negative news, we love negative news. You've got to stop that. I've stopped reading newspapers. Completely. I don't watch TV anymore because, as Bridget said earlier on, very correctly, what we think about is what we become. Ourselves. When we emotionalize our thoughts, every single cell in our body takes it on. the whole concept of the mind isn't up here in the brain. The mind is in every cell of our body. So figure out every thought you have. Catch yourself thinking one negative thought, slap yourself. Because that's going right through you. So, where was it? Yeah, I just want to do something for you folks just to think about for a minute. Just 1 minute. I want you to shut your eyes. Shut your eyes for 1 minute. And think, what would it be like if you could not see again? Imagine that you couldn't see the oceans again, that you couldn't see the mountains and the valleys and green grass and flowers with all their multiplicity of colours, and you couldn't see your loved ones. And imagine not being able to see episodes on Netflix. Yeah? You can open your eyes. We take everything for granted. We think we're entitled to things. We're entitled to sight. Really? It's a gift. That's what you need to be mindful and thankful for. Can't see that far, Richard. Thank you. We need to be grateful about these small things that we take for granted. Our sensory factors. That can be taken away any time. Who are you going to complain to? The government? Be grateful for everything you have. And by the way, if you do lose your sight, and I'm not far from it myself, if you do lose your sight, you've still got 4 other senses. Those are going to become stronger. So what's going to happen is your taste buds are going to get good. You're going to start really tasting food and smelling things. Hopefully good things. So what I'm trying to say is that when bad things happen, they're actually the world, the universe, the source, God, whatever you want to call him, they're pushing you into the direction you need to go. Taking you out of your comfort zone. So, why the spirit of gratitude? Because I think when we're grateful, it rewires our brain. It really rewires our brain, rewires how we think. It puts us in a place where we're grateful for what we have. And the minute your spirit opens to being grateful for what you already have, no matter how little that is, no matter how low on the socio-economic group you're on. In fact, the lower you are, the happier you are, but that's another issue. Yeah? No matter what level you're on, it doesn't matter. If you're grateful for the crust of bread on your plate, that's going to make you happy. That also opens you up to receive more good stuff. Let me just show you a difference. Say you have somebody selling something to you, and they're beaming, they're happy, they're grateful for what they have, and they're selling you something that you require. And then you have another guy who is really well dressed, has got everything, going for him, but he's a miserable git. Who are you going to buy from? So put yourself in that position. Be grateful. It only takes 10 minutes in the morning. And then through the day, the more stuff you see that you're grateful for, the better your day's going to be. It's that simple. Resist trying to knock people down, telling them off, being negative. Try resisting all that. It's not easy, but it's practice. And the practice of gratitude is that. Now, why am I interested in gratitude for clients and prospects? It's because their mindset's already beginning to rewire. They're thinking differently, their chemistry changes, their being changes, and they're ready to be coached, they're ready to grow. And I'd just like to end, because my time is up, with a quote from Marianne Williamson, the American spiritual writer who said, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. We don't do anyone a service by diminishing ourselves so that we can become normal in a group. None of us are normal, because we're all unique. And the only people stopping you from being who you really are, let me introduce you, yourself. You're the only person stopping yourself from shining. No one else. All those noises, those voices, they're internal, they're your voices. You need to shut them up. And so, if what I've said to you this evening resonates with you, and you want to talk to me, go to my website, the last line, take a photograph of this, go to my website on contact, and make an appointment, a 30-minute appointment free of charge, and we can speak then. Thank you very much.